Thank you very much for coming to the last Namibia Business Angel Network pitch event for the year. It's been a long year. I think all of us are somewhat tired, somewhat, in that burnout area, but we keep on pushing for the last parts of the year. And just to generally when we get started, right? I generally just give kind of an intro and the terms and conditions of pitching and such. But I thought today I should actually give a short presentation. So I won't keep you too long, and I'll try to keep it within the 5 minutes, in 5 minutes, which we give our pitches. Just to give you just a background in terms of why we do what we do at the Namibia Business Angel Network, right? And Nita, you can just go help me change my slides. Yeah. So I don't know how much everyone here knows about angel investing and what it's all about. It's not. Sometimes there's a lot of glitz and glam put behind it, but actually it's not, right? So it's really about the grind of entrepreneurs that work very, very, very hard each and every day to try to make it, And then on this platform, we try to give our entrepreneurs an opportunity to pitch, right? And to pitch for funding towards our angel investors. And such, unfortunately, not everyone makes it. Later on, we'll hear one success story, but even he'll tell you it's still a lot of hard work, right? So, but even before you get to even before you get to investing, to angel investors, right? There's a long journey. So typically, one will start right just having your own idea. And when you have that idea, the first type of funding one gets would be your own funding, right? Where you try to bootstrap, but still you need a lot of support, right? So that is, and we identified that entrepreneurs need that guidance and such, and that is why we came up and founded the Basecamp Business Incubator, right? So. And at Basecamp is really where we help support entrepreneurs with the business ideas, right? And this is just what behind me is what we call the J curve in investments. One really you don't always start making a profit, right? You typically would start at zero, right here, and at zero means that you're not generating any revenue, but you're not spending anything either, right? Typically that's just your idea, but then as you start building your business, right, you start spending money, but there's no income that comes in, right? That's where, as I said, where we help founders at Basecamp just kind of get that idea right, and then we incubate you. Then you come to a point where your business has, maybe traction in terms of clients, but or maybe generating a bit of revenue, but you're still very much in the hole. That's where at times you get, to this area here called the valley of death, where many businesses fail. But then no one will give you funding, right? You go to a bank, they say no. You try to go to venture capital, they tell you no. That is now where the business angels come in, and that's where the Namibia Business Angel Network comes in to really try to bridge that gap between funding your company until hopefully you get your first type of funding, right? And once you get that angel investment, or sometimes you have your own money, you get your own family, friends, and fools to invest in you. You get to a point where you potentially will be able to get some sort of venture capital, right? And we're lucky enough that as part of our members of Namibia Business Angel Network, we have Cola Capital, which is part of the Business Financial Solutions Group, which is BFS, and then they're also able to extend some funding towards you, right? Then as you grow, then you get to our next partner, which is FNB Namibia, and FNB Namibia is part of the First Round Group, which Point Break is also part of as well. And as you grow, you build your business further, you get to private equity, another member which is of Namibia Business Angel Network, which is called Eros Capital, can support you there. But as you grow, you'll find it's way easier to raise funding. And then maybe if you become big enough, you can even list on the Namibia Stock Exchange one day. So, but that's a journey, entrepreneurship journey that one wants to go on, right? But we know that it's very difficult if you don't get the funding right here at founding and here at Angel. And that is why we exist at the Namibia Business Angel Network, to get you on the right path so you can access the likes of Cola Capital, FNB, Eros Capital, and who knows, also on the stock exchange, right? Go to the next one. So, but another reason why we exist as well is to help build the startup ecosystem. If we do not build a conducive startup ecosystem where we have enough startups, in the ecosystem, we're not going to get startups that will be qualified for funding, right? And that is why a lot of work what we do at Basecamp, which I'm also part of, to really try to get as many startups into the ecosystem, right? And in terms of what we've done at Basecamp, before that I also used to be part of another organization called Startup Namibia as well, really used to push the startup ecosystem, plus there's also other ecosystem players as well. Namibia didn't used to be anywhere in the startup rankings, right? That's now, I can use 2020 as a starting point. And then we started doing the work, especially Startup Namibia, and many other ecosystem players also came on board. And then, in 2021, we were ranked. We were 99th globally, and then 21st in Africa. And then 2022, which was last year, we did even better. And then we then came 91st in the world, and then 18th in Africa. Next. Then this year's rankings came out, and our hard work, I think, as an ecosystem, has been recognized. If you go to the next slide, and Namibia now is ranked number 9th in Africa in terms of the startup ecosystem. So we've done really good work, right? But there's still lots to do. I think even in this article that was released by the Business Insider Africa, they recognized 3 things. Or 3 challenges Namibia face, right? Number 1 is the startup ecosystem lacks physical infrastructure. It just basically means there's not much funding in the ecosystem, right? We have a lot of passionate people like myself, Nita, Nguvi, Vincent, and many other people. But we don't have money, right? Or at least we use a little money we get from elsewhere to try to make this work, right? So, and that's quite sad, honestly. Heavy bureaucracy, how long does it take to register your business in Namibia? And how many times do they send you back, for simple things? That's just one part of it, but we know there's much more. The admin requirements, access to market is a problem. Another organization I'm part of called the Economic Association of Namibia had an event about access to markets. It's very difficult for startups sometimes to get into those markets. And obviously, lack of access to funding, which I just spoke to now, it's for startups. Again, a huge barrier. How do we solve it? I don't know, but we keep on pushing as we build the startup ecosystem. Next. In terms of I'm just going to highlight some of the most successful startup ecosystems in the world, and they've done a lot of good work to really position their startup ecosystems to really assist the startups, and because of that, a lot of great startups kind of come out of those really able to scale, right? And I just want to highlight 2 of them. One is the startup ecosystem of Singapore, right? Earlier this year, I traveled to Singapore and just to kind of check out the ecosystem, also just to check out the country because I've heard lots of good stuff about it. Then and when I was the startup here, I had already connected with a startup there that does AI, right? And then right now we're working together with them to roll out the AI program, which we just finished now. And then next week they're going to be pitching in front of Gondwana with the AI solutions, which are tourism based, and hopefully some of them will get that access to market that's really needed for startups. So that's just one of the ecosystems we really look up to. Another one, which is number 16, is Estonia. We also, there's some Estonians in the house as well. So those 3 blonde ladies there are from Estonia. So they're actually working together with Basecamp. We're actually implementing a project they're leading, which is funded by their development agency, and really want to go closer to them so we can take the learnings and really help build the Namibian startup ecosystem together. We can go to the next slide. So this is just in terms of what it's all about, at least from my perspective. I come from the investment background, right? To me, success to a certain extent is startups able to get funding to grow, right? But if you look at in terms of the funding landscape, right, you'll see that the ecosystems that get the most money tend to be from the 4 big markets. That's Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt, right? And Namibia from 2019, 2020 didn't really get anything, right? In 2021, because I think because of Jabu mainly, we managed to raise a bit of funds, and that's great, right? But still not enough. If we move to the next slide, which is how Namibia did in 2022, again, because of Jabu, we managed to raise some funding, but it's just mostly international funding. Doesn't really take into account the local funding itself, but it still goes to show that if you're a startup, basically, a startup that build a business that's scalable, high growth, and really looking to grow, right? This is not the ecosystem to raise funding, unfortunately, unless you already have some traction or some collateral. You go to a bank and they're able to support you, or you have already profitable. Then you can go to a private equity company and then they support you. But where does one get that early stage funding? And that's really still a big problem we're facing. But still, go next slide. There is a bit of success. I mentioned Jabu. They managed to raise initially a seed round, I think, of 3.2 million, and then they raised another 15 million round, US dollar round. That was raised out of Silicon Valley. But as far as I know, there are a few one of the few startups in the ecosystem that really has raised any significant amount of funding. When we go to the next one, about other successes we have, and then this is really some success we have, on a small scale. We've started accounting, which is now transformed to Nickel, that has raised a bit of money outside, but they're still growing, and they've grown into other markets like South Africa, I believe, Tanzania, Zambia, and such, and they still continue to grow. Although if you speak to the founder, it's very difficult. Then we have Philemon here. He's from Tololi. This was the first investment made by the Angel Network. He would also tell you, and he'll speak a bit later, how difficult it still is, to build this business. Right? But at least, there is hope, I believe. And through this platform, we really want to use it as a place where we invite entrepreneurs, startup founders to come and tell the story, to come and pitch to angel investors. Maybe they'll get funding, maybe not. But who knows? There's also partners who are out in the audience. And by telling your story, you can only attract good things. So yeah, thank you very much. That's me. So, that is a bit of a background in terms of what the Angel Network's about, what we're trying to achieve, and really trying to, get Namibia at least, hopefully, into the top 5 of the startup ecosystem in Africa in the next 5 years, maybe. Who knows, right? But we just need to keep on pushing. That's it. So basically, one of the reasons I'm on here is also to kind of let the pitchers know about some of the terms and conditions that comes with pitching. All right, so. Today, you'll get a chance to pitch. You'll pitch to some of our angel investors and members that are in the audience. You get 5 minutes to pitch. We'll time you. And after that, there'll also be Nita, it's 5 minutes for questions, right? 5 minutes to questions. Typically, in the past, we only allowed our members to ask questions, but now we're going to open up to the community who are here with us today. So you can ask a question. We'll give you the mic, and then the staff founder will then answer that question. All right. So if after the pitch, right, our angel investors who are in the audience like your pitch, we will then through our secretariat contact you to set up another meeting where we're just going to be asking a few more questions. Because tonight you only have 5 minutes, but then you'll get about an hour for us to ask questions. If you like it, then we'll ask you to populate what we call a data room, right? That is just basically information about your business plan, your financial projections, and some other information we'll ask about you just to verify that what choice you're telling us is legitimate. And then after that, if the angel investors are still happy with you, we'll then go into negotiating a valuation. Typically, you won't sell more than 20% of your business at this stage. Then the angel investor will then put in funds, but they won't not only put in funds, they also will put in time and effort and mentor you to hopefully get to the next level. You're able to get that venture capital funding from a Kula Capital, who knows, or get that loan from FNB, And FNB is our partner, and we're also always happy to link you up with them so they can also assist your business for funding where possible. So yeah, that's just really the journey you'll be traveling with us. But the first step starts here. 5 minutes to pitch your business to us, and hopefully we like your business and we can support you with financials by acquiring equity in your business. Thank you.